You don't need 6 indicators, 3 monitors, and a PhD in chart patterns. All you need is this one candlestick pattern. This one candlestick pattern changed everything for me. It stopped the FOMO, it gave me sniper entries, and it gave me the confidence that I needed to scale to 6-figure months. And in this video, I'll break down the exact setup and how you can make this your forever strategy. Now, before I show you the cute, magical little candlestick pattern which is gonna magically solve all your money problems, let me tell you about how I used to trade, okay? So I used to jump between strategies from strategy, right? So as a result, I would trade SMC, ICT, price action, indicators, whatever little nuanced strategy that you can think of. I've been there, I've done that, and trust me, when I did that, I didn't gain a mastery of any single one strategy. And then I did the same thing with candlestick patterns and chart patterns. I would try to memorize all these different candlestick patterns with all these fancy, weird names just so that I can become profitable. And honestly, I thought memorizing and trying all these different strategies will make me profitable. But instead, what I got was constant struggle. I was struggling with impulse trades, which means I would trade on impulse. I would enter too early sometimes, and then a lot of times I don't have confidence when I'm trading, right? So I'm always like hesitating, thinking whether this candlestick pattern will actually work or not, and whether I'm doing the right thing by trusting my instinct. And overall, I just had a lot of confusion, right? And as time passes, I became better at trading when I started eliminating all this complexity. Remember, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That's what Leonardo da Vinci said. And if he said it, then it better be right, right? What it means is that you don't need all these complex trading strategies or different candlestick patterns. You don't need to memorize all this shit. All you need is a simple setup that works for an extended period of time. And in this video, I'm going to show you that one super duper simple strategy that is, once again, is going to blow your mind when you realize how simple this strategy actually is. You know what? Enough of the suspense. Let me just draw the candlestick pattern out for you. What's that one candlestick pattern? Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, it looks like this. Okay. No, this is not the thing between your legs, right? This is liquidation candle. This is a confirmation candle. This is a rejection candle. Whatever name that suits you the most, or whatever name that helps you memorize this candlestick pattern, this is it. Right, I'm just gonna exit this video because I was expecting like a candlestick with 5 different legs or 5 different candlestick wicks. My guy, this is the holy grail. You are looking at the holy grail right now. But like I said, this candlestick pattern, it will not work if it's not put in the right market conditions, if you don't match it in the right context of the markets. So it's all about the context. Now, before I go on to the charts and show you how to use this candlestick pattern, let me just explain the nuances that you must understand to use this candlestick pattern effectively. So the first thing is that it must have some form of long wick, right? So it could be the upper wick that is long, or it could be the lower wick that is long, right? But it needs to be long, okay? But like I said, they all come in different shapes and sizes, right? I'm going to show you later on. Okay, but you just need to have some form of like upper and lower wick, all right? That's it. And the longer the wick, right, the more effective this candlestick pattern is. You heard that right. The more longer the wick, right, the longer the pin, the more effective this pattern actually is. Which means the smaller the body, the smaller the ball sag or whatever that's holding the candlestick, the more effective the pattern actually is. Now, the only reason why I'm using these immature sexual references is because I want you to be able to memorize this candlestick pattern, because it's going to change your entire trading career. And I don't want to sound super clever. I just want to sound clear. I want to simplify things. And this is my best way to actually simplify it. Now let's move on to the exciting part, which is the charts. I'm going to show you how you can actually apply this candlestick pattern in the different market conditions, in the different scenarios. So you can actually be wildly profitable trading this pin candlestick pattern, right? P-E-N, pin, right? So this is a scalping strategy, which means we are only going to be utilizing the lower time frames. But bear in mind that this candlestick pattern works across all time frames, because you must understand that price is fractal. Whatever happens on the higher time frame must first happen on the lower time frame. And also, since price is fractal, you will see these candlestick patterns across all different time frames. And like I said, it doesn't matter what time frame that you are trading on, this pattern will work. Okay, but for the sake of this video, because it's a scalping strategy video, we're going to be utilizing 2 time frames, which is just the 5-minute time frame and the 1-minute time frame itself. So let's look at the 5-minute time frame. So at a 5-minute time frame, I see price just chopping around, okay? But if you are a scalper, you are not going to be caring about what's going to happen on the higher time frame, like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, because it doesn't really concern you. You are trying to capture these short-term price movements, right? Which means you need to understand what's the prevailing trend on the 5-minute or even the 1-minute time frame itself. Okay, so in this case, since the 5-minute is unclear, right, price is just consolidating just like this, we know that on the 1-minute time frame, there's actually hidden trends, right? Which means price has to, create like a higher low just like this, like an uptrend, and then it switched to like a downtrend just like this in order for this consolidation to be formed, right? So our goal as scalper is that we don't really want to be trapped in this consolidation, but we can capitalize on these short-term trends that we have right here. So with that said, let's go on to the 1-minute time frame next, so I can show you all the instances where you can actually trade this candlestick pattern itself. Okay, so let's start from left to right, right? So once again, I'm just gonna go raw and unfiltered and draw all the instances where you can actually trade this candlestick pattern itself. So let's do it step by step from left to right. Okay, so what we have over here was price was going up, right? Uptrend, okay? I don't know, clear as day is uptrend. Price pull back to this point of interest, created like a new high low before pushing up, right? So when this happens, we are expecting this bullish market structure to continue, right? Which means we're expecting price to create like a new higher low before I push to the upside. But then what happened next is that price came down here, right? Mitigated this demand zone that we have on the left-hand side right here, and then it pushed to the upside, right? But it did not follow through. What I mean by that is that price did not actually take out this high to continue creating like a higher high, higher low, to continue the bullish market structure. Instead, it looked for some form of liquidity before it pushed to the upside. So in this case, price actually came down here, right? Swept all the available liquidity that we have below these equal lows that we had on the left hand side, right? So once again, this is where all the retail traders are placing their stop loss, right? So once we got that liquidity sweep right here, look at the candlestick, okay? Look at the candlestick that was formed. Price came down here, right? Created this liquidation candle, confirmation candle, rejection candle, whatever fancy name you like to call it, before pushing to the upside. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna call it liquidation candle. Alright, so what does the liquidation candle looks like? Once again, what do we have? We got a long upper wick, right? Once again, it doesn't matter whether it's a long upper wick or a long lower wick, as long as you have some form of long wick and like a small candlestick body just like this, we can identify that as the liquidation candle. So the minute price actually came down there and swept these equal lows, right, and also gave you your confirmation in terms of like a liquidation candle just like this, you could have easily entered for a buy right here, place your stop loss below this liquidation candle, and then place your take profit at the next point of interest, right? But for the sake of this video, like I said, to keep things simple, we're just gonna put it at 2R, right? 2R constantly. So you can see, place it at 2R just like this, price went up there, smash your take profit, you get out, as simple as that. Now, to prove to you that this is not just a lucky trade, I'm gonna share with you how often this candlestick actually shows up in the rest of this example right here. Okay, so over here, what happened was that price went up there, pulls back, and then goes up, and then pulls back up, right? So in this case right here, what do we actually have? You can see it's subtle, but it did appear again. Price went up, pull back, goes up once again, no follow through. Price did not take out this high right here. Instead, it grabbed more liquidity before the real move actually happened. Price came down, swept the available liquidity that we have below this low here, right? Perhaps even below this low here before it pushed to the upside. In this case, where is the liquidation candle? Is this one right here, right? So once again, this liquidation candle, it gave us like a long lower wick just like this before I push to the upside. So in this case, place your buy order right above the liquidation candle, stop loss below the lower wick of the liquidation candle, place your take profit at 2R, bam, smash your take profit, as simple as that. Now, just to fast forward the entire thing, because I want to show you some live chart examples instead of this backtesting cherry pick scenarios. By the way, this is not cherry pick, this is just like a random price point that I found on the chart itself. But yeah, we're going to get into the live trade examples later on, where I show you how this strategy works in real time, in real life market conditions, right? But for now, I just want to show you more examples so that you can actually embed this pin candlestick pattern into your subconscious mind. All right, so later on, price goes up there. You can see it. You know what? Let me just close my eyes. Okay, maybe not close my eyes, but let me just like spot this candlestick patterns for you without actually marking anything. Okay, so over here, price went up there. What do we have? What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? right? Liquidation candle, super duper long upper wick candle. This is a sign that smart money has swept liquidity, right? This is a sign that tells us that institutions have gotten involved, right? So over here, swept liquidity and then price put to the downside, right? So in this particular case itself, you can have entered for a sell right here. Upon the liquidation candle, where price swept this highs right here, place your stop loss above this liquidation candle, right? Maybe like, let me just draw it out for you. Maybe like somewhere around here. And then target 2R, once again, it worked out perfectly. Now, in this particular case itself, that's why it's so important for you to have some form of like breathing room behind your stop loss, right? If you place it right around here, you could have been stopped out and then price move in your way, right? So you want to give it at least like 1 to 2 pips of breathing room. Okay, so later on, price went down there and price pulled up again. Price came down here, pull back, goes down, failed to follow through, failed to take out this low. Why? Because you want to grab more liquidity. Later on, price grab more liquidity above this high, okay, before pushing to the downside. Once again, where is the liquidation candle in this case? Is this candle right here or this candle, right? Whichever you deem fit, that's the liquidation candle, because that's the candle that swept liquidity, and you place your sell order right below it. Stop loss above it, and boom, target 2R, as simple as that. You smash your TP and then you call it a day, right? Just like this, okay? As simple as that. Okay, so now that you have understood how powerful the liquidation candle is, let me introduce another concept called the point of liquidation, right? Point of liquidation is basically the point of interest that swept liquidity. The liquidation candle that created the point of interest. Okay, so what I mean by that is that you want to identify the liquidation candle, right, which is this one right here that we have saw previously. And when it's formed, you want to draw a box from the high of the candlestick wick to the low of the candlestick wick, just like this, and then drag it across. And you can see, these are the points that price will respect, right? So you can see right here what happened. Price came down, respected this point of interest, and then pushed it to the upside. And the same thing that we have right here, okay? This was the liquidation candle that we have identified, right? Draw to the right hand side, what happened? Price respected this point of interest before it pushed to the upside, right? So there was demand sitting at this point of interest. Once again, it's because institutions got involved in the market at this price point, and the next time price pull back to this point of interest, it's gonna scale in, right? They're gonna add on to their existing orders. So once again, just to show you more examples, let's just continue marking up all the liquidation candle. You can see this point of liquidation, right? Price mitigated this point of liquidation, pushed to the downside. Another scenario right here, price mitigated this point of interest, this point of liquidation, mitigate it, fill up the remaining sell orders before we push to the downside, right? You can see there's so many other examples which I can show you just in this one huge consolidation alone, right? You can see like there's another one right here, right? Point of liquidation, but in this case, the point of liquidation, it actually failed, right? Because why? The higher time frame order flow is switching bearish. Okay, but this is another topic for another day, which I'm going to show you how to actually identify the high probability scenarios and why sometimes this liquidation actually doesn't work. Yo, so just wanted to show you what the rejection candle looks like in live market conditions, right? So as you can see over here, there was available liquidity sitting above these highs right here. And then later on, price came up there, swept those highs, and then now we are pushing to the downside because it's already triggered all the stop and the limit orders that was placed a bit above this lower high itself, right? So we can just continue to observe what happens next in the market. This is very subtle and most traders don't really notice this, but if you really look closely, you will see that this upper wick right here pretty much took out all the stop losses and all like the stop and limit orders that were sitting above this high here itself, right? So it went up there, swept those liquidity, and then now it's pushing to the downside. And where can we expect price to gravitate to? It's gonna gravitate towards the next point of interest that swept liquidity, right? So in this case, if you look towards the left hand side, we got price coming down here, pulls back, right? So we know once again there is a little internal low being formed right here, and below this internal low, what do we have? We got pending orders, right? We got available liquidity. So price later came down there, swept those pending orders, right? Those available liquidity before pushing to the upside itself. So this means that there is another form of liquidity sweep right here. Okay, since there's another form of liquidity sweep that we have down here, we know for a fact that price is gonna gravitate towards where? This point of interest that we have down here. But the thing is, if you look at this point of interest, it has been mitigated, right? Price came down here, mitigated before pushing to the upside. So this was the liquidation candle that led to price sweeping liquidity. So we can draw our liquidity zone right here, sweep zone. And you can see price has already mitigated this point of interest before pushing to the upside, which means price has already filled up the remaining buy orders within this point of interest. So now we can expect price to pull back to the most recent unmitigated point of interest, which is this demand zone that we have down here, right? So you can see, ladies and gents, this is live market conditions, no bar replay, no bullshit. I've showed you guys how effective this strategy is, right? After the liquidation candle itself, price move back to where? The next point of liquidity, right? The next liquidation zone, or whatever fancy name you like to call it, right? Which is this point of interest down here. But because of the fact that this point of interest has already been mitigated, right? There is still a chance that price will come down here, right? You can see price is still potentially going to go down there, but there is a very high chance that price will also mitigate this point of interest that we have right here, purely because of the fact that it's unmitigated. All the pending buy orders within this point of interest has not been triggered whatsoever, right? So that's what happens when you understand market mechanics. So if that's it, let's wait like 1 more minute to see how this play out and see when we're going to get to the push to the upside. But there's a very high chance that price is going to start pushing up very, very soon, purely because of the fact that this is indeed that zone that swept liquidity. But once again, it depends on the higher time frame order flow and the higher time frame narrative, right? So let's just continue to see what price does next. So if you did enter for a sell right here upon the liquidation candle itself, and you place your stop loss above the liquidation candle, and you place your take profit at the edge of the zone here, boom, you would have already smashed TP by now, right? Just as simple as that. Quick little 1:3R. Like I said, no cherry picking, no back testing bullshit. This is something that, once again, I didn't pull this out of magic hat. I didn't pull this out of my ass. This is something that has been back tested and proven thousands of times, right? I have a large sample size of trades to actually prove that this shit actually works. And what do we have? Right after you get out, you can see the bullish momentum start stepping into the market, and purely because of the fact that we has already mitigated that zone that swept liquidity, which was created by the liquidation candle itself. This is how the market moved. This is why price moved. It gravitated from points of liquidity towards the next points of liquidity. Now, just to show you what's going to happen next, price is going to come up to this area right here, right? Because once again, this is the next point of liquidity, right? By the way, point of liquidity is like a new term that I came up with, but it's pretty much the point of interest that swept liquidity, right? So this is the liquidation candle, and then this is the point of interest that was created after the liquidation itself, right? That led to the imbalance and move, right? Same as this one right here, that led to this huge imbalance. So this is the point of liquidity, which we are expecting price to push up to that point right here. You can see this is where price is at right now after it just mitigated the previous point of liquidity. So now it's gravitating towards the next point of liquidity, which is going to be this one right here. Just continue to watch what happens next. Boom. There we have it, lads. The power of liquidity, right? You can see right now price has literally not only went to this point of interest, but just blew past it, right? Why? Because demand has overpowered supply, right? So as you can see, it did gravitated from this point of liquidity to this next point of liquidity. Like I said, live market condition. You can see the timestamp right here. No sugarcoating, no bullshit, no back testing, none of that bullshit, right? You can see this is just raw, unfiltered. Just wanted to show you that this works. And yeah, lads, that's what happens when you understand market mechanics. #Radical. Now, the reason I will use this strategy for life is simple. It's not just about the candle. It's about reading the story of the market. This rejection candle right here, it appears at key moments where the market exposes weak hands, #diamond hands, and the follow through confirms smart money step into the market itself. Now, once again, I've tested it, I've logged it. It works in Asian session, London session, New York session. It worked for crypto, forex, stocks, indices, futures, whatever. No indicator will ever give me this level of conviction and confidence. I hope you can tell by the way that I speak. Oh, Brad, but you didn't actually took the trade. Okay, brokey, calm down. Now let daddy show you a live trade where I took using this exact strategy that made me $32,000. I've been live trading for the past 1 hour. I literally documented me entering for this trade. Up to this point, but I was muted. The microphone wasn't bloody working. Let me just show you the recording, all right? Let me just show you real quick. Let me just quickly walk you through what happened. Over here, I entered for a sell upon the liquidation candle, upon the mitigation of this supply, and then price was going in my way. You can see I'm up 10k, I'm happy and shit, and then price is approaching my take profit. Right now, I'm almost hitting my take profit, and boom, price starts reversing against me. Now I regret not taking profit earlier, and let's see whether we still end up winning this trade or not. I literally documented myself entering the trade from the start to where we are at right now, pip by pip, walk you guys through my entire analysis, drop some free sauce in there, and that shit was muted. Oh my god, I'm so bloody angry, bro. But hey, remember, I'm a stoic, right? So situations like this, once again, man, it tests you, right? It tests your character, right? Once again, it's not the events that enrage us, it's not the events that upset us, but our judgments about those events. So if you're able to detach from these situations and you see it for what it is, and you accept the fact that you can't control the past, then my friend, you just gotta focus on the present. You just gotta focus on things that are within your control, right? Which is me doing my best to explain to you this trade and how we got to where we are right now. So over here, when this demand actually causes price to shoot all the way up here, understand that this is just short-term demand, right? For price to pull back, to gravitate towards the next area of liquidity. And the next area of liquidity is this next area of supply that we have up here. Okay, but the thing is, price is not just going to mitigate the supply and just go down without grabbing some form of liquidity, right? So what happened was that price went up there, it swept the available liquidity above these equal highs right there. So that's the first good old liquidity sweep. Okay, but when that actually happened, there was still insufficient liquidity for price to go down, right? Main reason is because price came down here, right? Fill up the imbalance that we have on the left hand side over here, right? This bullish demand right here, and it caused price to continue heading up. Okay, once again, this tells us that there was insufficient supply, insufficient liquidity for price to continue bearish, and this tells us that it needs more liquidity. And where is it gonna get more liquidity from? It's gonna get it from all the liquidity that has been built up above these highs right here. Alright, so I just got off a call with my software developer and we hit TP. Damn, life couldn't get better than that, right? So yeah, like I said, this is what happens when you guys trust your analysis and you guys understand how the market works, baby. Right? Sniper precision, look at the entry. Couldn't get better than that. So today we caught a quick little 1:5R, not too shabby. Right? This month we are already up like 12R at the moment. There you have it, fam. 32k, baby. This month we took about 2 trades and we won both. Bro, I don't know what else I can do to convince you this strategy works, right? It has worked not just for me, but for my thousands of students inside the 1% club. If you don't believe me, just test this strategy out over the next 30 days and test it out over 100 trades. And then based on data, by the way, numbers don't lie, then you can see that this shit actually works. Remember guys, my mission on this channel is to just simplify everything. Like, trading doesn't have to be this complicated. The reason why all these trading gurus make it so complicated is because they want to sell you a course. And all these brokers make all these candlestick patterns so complex and so vast because they want you to trade and they want you to lose money so that they can actually earn money from your spread, right? So you can see like the industry is literally stacked against you. Like, the entire game is rigged against you. And my mission on this channel is to help you win the game, right? To really help you win the game in the most simple and most elegant manner possible. So yeah, remember, this one setup is all you need, so go out there and master it. Now, once again, you must understand that this is my unique edge, right? Obviously, I have different trading strategies in my arsenal, which I'll probably show later down the road. But yeah, this is my edge. And your goal as a trader is to develop your own unique edge that works for you, that suits your trading style, your personality, your lifestyle, that allows you to accomplish your trading goals, right? So go out there, right? Test this out, right? Test out the different strategies if you need to, if you don't believe that this one actually works. And then once you find the one that works, just go and master it, man. Like, just go and double down on what's actually working and eliminate what's not working. That's the secret to becoming consistently profitable. You know what? I've reviewed too much sauce in this video, and I'll probably want to review more sauce because I'm a very giving person, right? All I do is give. So with that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always, remember, you're just one trade away.